everyone, and welcome back to the Soulful Cook, where I share with you some of my favorite vegan recipes. Today we're going to be making the ultimate comfort food, vegan chocolate sheet cake. Now this chocolate cake is super moist, super easy to make, and it's made gluten-free without adding any vegan butter or oil or any refined sugar. For the frosting, I did use coconut cream, but I will also be providing a whole food frosting option as well. If you prefer the written version of this recipe, head over to my blog at thesoulfulcook.com. You can also find it in the description box below. All the products I used in this video are linked down below. And don't forget, every time you do purchase from those links, you are supporting this channel in a huge way, which will only help us share even more content with you. Now, before we jump into the recipe, don't forget to hit that like button and click on subscribe. It really helps us with the YouTube algorithm. All right, let's make some chocolate cake. First thing we're gonna do is we're gonna make our frosting. And here's everything you're gonna need. We want to first melt our coconut cream and chocolate chips. So I'm just setting up a double boiler. In a medium saucepan, I'm just boiling some water. And then I'm going to add a large glass bowl on top. You want to make sure that the bottom of the bowl does not touch the water. So I'm adding in 2 cups of vegan chocolate chips, half a cup of chilled coconut cream, and you want to make sure you only use the fat, none of the liquid. And then we're just going to mix that until everything is melted. If you want to make a whole food plant-based frosting without coconut cream, then just look at the description box below for a recipe for that. So now I'm just removing it from heat, and then I'm just going to mix it until all of the chocolate is completely melted. Then I'm adding in my vanilla bean paste, and then we're going to chill that in the fridge for about 2 to 3 hours or until it's firm. Now we're going to make our cake, and here's everything you're going to need to make it. So first we're going to curdle our milk, and this will act as our buttermilk. So to half a cup of non-dairy milk, I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. And then I'm just going to mix that, and then we're just going to set that aside. So now I'm just going to sift all of my dry ingredients together. So I'm taking 1.5 cups of gluten-free flour, and then half a cup of cocoa powder. And because cocoa powder does have some lumps, I'm just going to make sure I thoroughly sift that as well. I'm going to add a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, and 1 teaspoon of baking powder. And then I'm just going to whisk that together to make sure everything is well incorporated. And then we're going to set that aside. So now I'm just going to combine all of my wet ingredients, starting with a cup of maple syrup, 3 tablespoons of non-dairy yogurt, our curdled milk, half a cup of instant coffee, and you want to make sure it's warm, 1 teaspoon of vanilla bean extract, and then I'm just going to mix that until everything is well incorporated. So now I'm slowly going to add my wet ingredients to my dry ingredients, and using my hand mixer, I'm just going to slowly mix it until everything is nice and combined. And you want to be sure you don't over mix because you want your cake batter to be light and airy. Now I'm just taking my spatula and making sure I get all of the flour from underneath as well. So now I've just taken my 9x13 sheet cake pan and I've lined it with some nonstick parchment paper. And I'm just going to transfer all of the batter into that and just spread it out to make an even layer. And now I'm just going to tap it on the counter a few times, and this is going to help remove any air bubbles. And then we're going to bake that in the oven at 350 for 14 to 15 minutes. When we're ready to frost our cake, we're going to take our chilled melted chocolate, and using my hand mixer, I'm just going to whip that until it's nice and creamy and spreadable. If it's a little too hard, then you can add a little bit of warm non-dairy milk as well. So now I'm taking my cooled cake, and you want to make sure it's absolutely cooled before you frost it. And then I'm just putting dollops of our frosting on top. And then I'm just going to spread it and make an even layer of frosting all over my cake. And if you want, you can add fruit on top, you can add sprinkles, you can add any additional toppings of your choice. You can even add more shaved chocolate. It's really up to you. And that's it. And there you have it, a super moist and super yummy chocolate sheet cake. If you're looking for more recipes like this one, head over to my blog at thesoulfulcook.com. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Hit the bell icon so you do get notified every time I post a new recipe. If you tried this recipe, don't forget to tag at The Soulful Cook so I can check it out. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time.